I'm telling you, it'll be fine.
Hello, welcome to...
If you can hear the fan from the laptop, we apologise, but we are here for our first ever episode of the Fantasy Footballers Down Under. I am Ash.
I am Justin.
And today we're going to start off with quarterback rankings because everyone loves quarterbacks.
Do we ever?
And fantasy football quarterbacks tend to be kind of shit, so we thought we'd start with them and then move into the better stuff once we have a little bit more viewer base. So, just so you know, we've been doing fantasy for quite some time, and as you can tell by our really, really bad accents, we are from Australia. So, you know...
Doing a big down under.
Yeah, if you don't really think that we know what we're talking about because we sound like we don't because we're from Australia, then you are wrong because we've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this in my 10th year of fantasy football. I've been doing it since I was 14 years old.
And what did we work out? I think it was about 7.
7 years for you.
Yeah, goodness me.
His first year was the same year that Aaron Hernandez went to jail.
Shout out to Bevan.
Because our mate in our draft took him as his like 5th round pick when he was already in jail because he had no idea what he was doing. So that was a good year. We did a good backyard draft that year.
And the draft was written down on a piece of cardboard.
A giant piece of cardboard. It was our first ever offline draft.
It was.
And we've been doing it ever since then. It's like there was just at our mate's house. It was probably it was way too early for a draft as well.
It doesn't help when you're hungover.
Yeah,
it definitely doesn't help when you're cooking the barbecue.
We'd been drinking all night.
And you're having a draft. It's very tough.
Yeah, it was
way too tough.
It was like one of those, we all miss fantasy football.
Let's do it again.
Let's do a draft
yes.
because we miss it so much. So we're going to do our draft way before we should. And I think we did like late June. I think it was July. I think it was late July. So it was coming up in maybe a week. So before preseason games had even started, before training camp had even started.
You got to get in with the draft.
There could have been trades and stuff that happened.
And how many of us knew what we were doing?
A few. A handful.
Yeah, I could count it on my hand if I had 2 fingers.
I drafted Peyton Manning that year, and that happened to be the year he threw 55 touchdowns. And because our league's stupid and we have a week 17...
Oh, don't get me started.
Week 17 grand final for our fantasy league. Peyton Manning that year happened to only play half a game.
And put up what?
And because of our stupid scoring system that year, because we hadn't been doing it for so long, he put up 77 points in a half of football. I think he threw 4 touchdowns that week in one half.
Yeah, we were camping when that happened, and we all just got up and left. And
I was very happy.
No more football.
Well, that was bad because we didn't actually have reception where we were, so we couldn't check if I'd won the championship or not. But we were pretty sure after Manning put up, 200-something yards and 4 touchdowns.
I think it was after the 3rd touchdown we had a bit of an idea, and it was all over Red Rover.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So today, based on, what's the word I'm thinking for here? I don't know what I'm thinking of. Whatever, fuck it. We're doing quarterback rankings.
We are.
We were going to do all 32, but then we decided that the Washington quarterback situation is stupid.
Is it Kennum? Is it Haskins?
No one knows.
Will Alex Smith ever play again?
We think Haskins will eventually be the quarterback. However, Case Keenum at the start will probably have the role to start.
I think he will struggle through the first 4 or 5 weeks, and then they decide to bring in Haskins.
Well, they don't have...
Going to call it the Daniel Jones effect.
They don't have any receivers.
They don't.
So
goodbye Jamison Crowder.
Yeah,
goodbye Djax.
Keenum's best ability to throw the ball deep it's just not going to work.
No.
So you think after probably 3-4 weeks he probably comes out. Maybe a bit longer. Maybe they try with him for a little bit longer. But Haskins eventually comes in. They probably both split the year and probably both throw for 1,200, 1,300 yards and struggle. And Washington does nothing for the year. That's what I would say would happen.
But it's their year.
Like
every year, it's their year.
It's their year. It's their year. We'll talk more about Washington when it comes to the running back episodes because I think their running back situation is a little bit intriguing with Geis
AP
and AP because obviously AP wants to rush for another 2,000? What do you say? 1,000 yards rush? 2,000? Was it say 2,000 rushes this season?
I think he said he wants 2,000 yards,
which is just a joke.
And everyone shook their heads and went,
because he's 50.
Which year are we in?
Because he's 50, so it just won't happen for him.
No.
And then Darius Geis coming off ACL tear and
in college, he was nuts.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting episode when we talk about them. We've got our little tablet here because our laptop is actually the thing that's recording this because we are Povo set. And if you saw what we were looking at right now, you would be very disappointed.
Shout out to the coat hangers holding up the jerseys.
So good. It actually...
Not controversial. I am a 49ers fan. This is the only Jersey I own.
And we're also very poor, which is why we have the old school Antonio Brown jersey, not the Raiders one. So what we're going to do, we're just going to rattle off some quarterbacks and have a little bit of a chat up until we get to the top 10. Then we'll have a little bit more of an in-depth chat about the top 10. But we thought it would still be good to go through at least all 32 because for a lot of people in fantasy, I know a lot of people stream quarterbacks. Like going early for a quarterback is not everyone's strategy.
Very popular strategy. Going for the weekly matchup.
I know me, last year was the only year, probably the last 5 years, that I've gone an early quarterback. And I went to Deshaun Watson purely because...
You're a Texans fan.
I'm a Texans fan, so...
Didn't that?
And well, it's funny because he actually... Our scoring system, we -2 for sacks, which if you minus points for sacks, I would, in your league and you're a commissioner, get rid of it. It's disgusting because Deshaun Watson has no, say in the fact that his offensive line is literally just riddled with 3-year-olds that can't block anything.
Yeah, it's like every time they snap the ball, they just step to the side.
Correct.
And let all the defenders come straight through and get it.
Correct. It's terrible to watch. But so for me personally, we just could talk a little bit of strategy quickly. I wouldn't go for an early round quarterback. Like Mahomes is getting drafted ridiculously early, and then
a few mocks we did was about round 3.
Yeah, round
Start
3.
Of the 3rd, which is
ridiculous. Like
if you want to win your draft, if you want to win your league, don't take Mahomes.
Nah,
great player, but too risky.
Way too risky, especially in the range. He's played 1 year.
Yeah, I mean that year he did.
It was good.
50. I drafted him last year.
In what round? The last.
In the 15th round.
The last round.
And then dropped him.
And then someone else picked him up.
Before the season, yep. And then that bloke almost won the league.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. So we'll just start off. We'll go through more of our strategy when we get to the actual top players and where we think they should go and whatnot.
So we plotted out each quarterback. We did our own rankings. These are the consensus. Projections have been done. Looked at last year's stats. Looked at acquisitions and departures, and
it was a bit interesting going through them and trying to. It was one of those things where we put up our projections, and then some quarterbacks finished in places where I didn't think they would.
Yeah.
So it's actually if you have never done projections before,
recommend it.
It's actually good to do because it gives you an idea of people that we'll go through a bit later on when we get to them, but players are in positions that I wouldn't usually draft them in that order, but looking at the projections that we've done, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It does, absolutely.
So let's just get rid of all the crap to start with. The bottom things.
Filter it out.
Eli Manning is obviously going to be... Well, like I said, we didn't do the Washington quarterbacks because no one's going to take the Washington... You might have Haskins later in the season when he starts and maybe he's good, but...
We almost didn't want to do the New York Giants.
No, they're terrible. But we did Eli because we projected Eli for all 16 games just because... Who knows, with Eli, he might have another Super Bowl winning year, but he won't. But, with Eli, we projected him for not a whole lot over 16 games, so he's going to be a 31st ranked quarterback, and realistically, if most teams, 12-team leagues, you're not going to get to the 31st quarterback on there.
He will be on the waivers all year.
And he probably isn't even someone you pick up in a good matchup. No. I probably wouldn't. I'd rather pick up some other people.
I mean, if we're lucky this year, he might throw it more than 10 yards. Yeah. He might get to that 15-yard range.
I doubt it.
Saquon on a really long check down.
And that's the good thing is, he will get a lot of passing yards through screens to Saquon.
Yep.
That's the only probable way.
Looking at the plays. Same one.
Sterling Shepard as a number 1 receiver for Eli. It doesn't look like it's going to be a good year.
Goodbye, Odell. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good year. 30, at rank 30... Another one that's up in the air. It's another one of those quarterbacks who's really starting. Josh Rosen, Miami.
Oh boy,
it's he does not even the locked and loaded starter for the season yet. Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick is going to go nuts for 3 weeks.
Who knows?
He's going to be the bomb for 3 weeks, and then they're going to put Rosen in to see how he goes.
Yeah, potentially.
And then you've got another New York.
So you think they wouldn't have traded for Rosen unless they wanted to give him a chance?
Yeah, unless they're saying something that we didn't.
He was a first-round pick last year.
He was. Played like a 15th-round pick, but...
He struggled, but I think in Miami, his skill set kind of fits their offense more so than he did in Arizona. They have a lot of really good deep threats in Miami that will
Wilson,
also...
Devontae Parker,
Devontae Parker, the guy that is going to break out every single year.
Kenny Stills.
Never does. I actually like Stills a lot more than I like Devontae Parker this year. But... It's still not the best wide receivers. They're still not the best wide receivers.
No.
So Josh Rosen is still going to struggle this year. He's probably not someone you draft. He's not someone you look to pick up off the waivers. But
he's there.
He's there. 29, we have Joe Flacco in Denver. It's another one of those... I actually think Joe Flacco could go well in Denver. Like,
I thought so.
I
thought so.
Going into the year, I thought, like, before I did these, I actually thought Joe Flacco might be a good streaming option every now and then.
Is Drew Lock any danger to him? No?
No. Ooh. No, Joe, they're not going to take him if they're not going to start him, I don't think. And he's, like I said, he's got really good receivers. He's got better receivers in Denver than he did in Baltimore. I think Cortland Sutton is going to have a breakout year this year. I think he's going to be better than everyone thinks. I think he's a really, really good sleeper in the draft at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be on fire this year, if we're lucky.
28, big fella.
There we go. 28. We have...
Exactly. The weird thing about what we're doing right here is it's not actually... Whatever it says here, it's two lower than that.
Shout out to Microsoft Excel.
Yeah, Microsoft Excel killing it right here.
All right, at 28, we have Derek Carr. Now, Derek Carr, not someone I would imagine that low.
No.
Especially after this offseason.
Yeah, acquisition of big fella up here. Big Antonio Brown.
Tony Totap.
But he hasn't proven anything recently.
No, he hasn't, which is the sad thing.
And he went from being someone who could be like a really solid QB1, low QB2
to barely a QB2.
Nah, like we've got him projected outside the QB2 rank, like outside the top 24, and I think he's a good stream option this year.
Yep.
And I think he could honestly be picked up in the draft and kept as a QB2 and played for matchups if you go for like a low quarterback option. So if you like kind of go late quarterbacks, you maybe take, I don't know, Phillip Rivers late, and then you just kind of chuck in Derek Carr in there and play for matchups because they're both... Derek Carr is still going to be high-powered.
He will.
Quarterback. He's got a really high-powered offense.
You look at Jared Cook, you look at Antonio Brown.
Jared Cook left.
Oh, that's right. Whoops.
Jared Cook's gone.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But Antonio Brown, and then having Josh Jacobs there, it's a better run threat.
Yeah.
Like Marshawn was how old?
40.
58.
At least, pushing 70.
58.
He was hobbling down.
So, I actually kind of like Derek Carr. I think what we've projected here is like really, really conservative. Like I've got him for only 3,850 yards and only 23 touchdowns.
Which I think sits really well with his current situation.
Yeah, I think
it's a feeling out process. I think
it's a flaw. Yeah, and I think he will get better with Antonio Brown. But let's just start steaming through this because no one actually is going to draft these players.
No one cares about these guys.
No.
Next up, Sam Darnold from the Jets. Now,
I think he's only good because of Bell.
Robbie Anderson's going to have a good year.
Yeah, but Sam Darnold himself might take the next step forward. He's still going to be one of those quarterbacks that you're probably not going to draft, but he has the upside potential this year in his sophomore year to...
They're steps, but they're baby steps. We're going to be a couple of years away.
It's a few years away, especially with the new offense. Robbie Anderson could have a really good year. He's a real like deep burner. So I think having Le'Veon Bell there is going to really, really help him in the way that Le'Veon Bell's going to actually attract defensive attention.
Absolutely.
Which wasn't the case in New York last year.
No, which put a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to run the ball as well.
Yeah.
These young quarterbacks always come in and they have the ability to scramble. So with Bell, deep threats of Robbie Anderson, and the ability to scramble for Sam Darnold, I think he can be a streaming option.
Absolutely.
Later in the season, probably.
Without a doubt. All right, next up, Marcus Mariota. What do you say about Marcus Mariota?
I don't like Marcus Mariota.
No?
I think he had so much hype. He had so much hype coming out of college, and then he's just disappointed. And they don't help him, obviously. They have
not made any attempt to give him options.
No.
If anything, they've taken them away.
Yeah. They've got nothing there. And I think the only good thing about Tennessee this year is going to be potentially Derrick Henry, and that's not even locked in to be good for them. So I think we just move on from Tennessee.
Skip.
Mariota's shit.
All right, next up, Matthew Stafford.
And this is really low.
Surprisingly, I did not expect him to be this low.
Like Stafford is someone that I'm always happy to take in drafts, especially late, because he's always there late in drafts. He's not someone...
Always reliable.
Correct. Well, reliable in putting up a good end-of-year number.
Not the start, reliable.
But he's one of those people that... Yeah, he's one of those people that... He's going to give you good weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to...
Absolutely bomb the other
He's going to bomb other weeks.
Yeah.
And he's frustrating, so I think Stafford... The reason he's low is because Yes, he's still going to throw for close to 4,000 yards and potentially 30 touchdowns, but he has no rushing potential. He tends to be very wild with the ball, and especially with, I think this year, Kenny Golladay being the number one target, I think that he tries to throw passes that he probably shouldn't. And he probably has a few picks. I think we have him down for something like 12, 13 interceptions, which is probably pretty low.
And it's lower than we want it to be, but he will make some silly choices. Try and throw to double coverage.
Yeah.
Overthrows, but...
I think Golladay is going to really take a next step, and it's going to really help Matthew Stafford this year.
Yeah.
Give him something that he hasn't had for the last few years since Calvin Johnson retired.
Absolutely. That's what he's missing.
But
he needs that.
He'll be pretty good. Next, we got Nick Foles on the list back in Jacksonville. Everyone in Jacksonville is hyping up Nick Foles. They really like him.
I love it.
The Nick Foles effect. He just goes somewhere, makes them good apparently.
Yep. I can't wait for the Jacksonville special. Looking forward to that play.
Jacksonville is Jacksonville special. What will that be in Jacksonville? Who's going to throw the ball in Jacksonville?
Can Leonard Fournette throw?
I doubt it.
Okay, well...
The 50-year-old, 24-year-old.
The 50-year-old, 24-year-old is going to break our shoulder trying to throw. No, I think Foles has a better year. Sorry to Blake Bortles, but I think Foles is a much better replacement.
You reckon?
I think so.
I've always been a big Blake Bortles truther. I really like Blake Bortles. I think he had that one good year probably 3 years ago.
Yep. That
I really, really, really rated. But ever since then, it's just been kind of downhill for Blake Bortles, and it was the last straw last year. I think he even knew last year.
Yeah.
I think he said in an interview last year that he wasn't going to be there next year.
No, which is worrying for your starting quarterback, but it's nice of him to be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't help when his receivers are injured.
Yeah, all the time.
Drafted Marquise Lee last year.
Yes.
And the next week, he broke his knee.
Yeah.
He ruptured everything in his knee on a practice route. Goodbye. And that was the start of the demise for the Jags, I reckon.
Andy Dalton, 27 on our list. And Andy Dalton's probably going to be... He's probably been at 27 on the list for probably the last 5 years.
Yeah, he hasn't made any...
He hasn't made any progress. No. He hasn't really regressed. He's just always been there. He's always been a really good streaming option.
Mm-hmm.
He's always one of those blokes that you're probably going to put up consistent fantasy numbers. You're going to get your 15 points from Andy Dalton. And this year, with Joe Mixon, AJ Green set to apparently have a really good breakout year. He seems to be rising the last few weeks in mock drafts. And Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd.
Everyone's loving Tyler Boyd this year. Like... Apparently, I think he's going the 5th round.
Have seen some, 5th and 6th, which is impressive.
For a second wide receiver.
He needs to take advantage of John Ross.
Do you know John Ross changed his number?
To what?
He changed his number so that he could have a fresh start. He got a new number this year because he said the old number had bad attached to it because he had a bad start to his career. So he's changed his number. New John Ross, apparently. I don't think it will be.
I look forward to watching him.
I hope he breaks
down the field.
He has weapons, Andy Dalton.
He does.
I think Andy Dalton's a very good streaming option this year, simply for the fact that he has so many weapons around him.
He's the best average quarterback with the best options.
I agree.
He should be so much better than he is.
I agree.
And for some reason, it just hasn't come to fruition, and it's driving everyone nuts.
I think it's actually
doesn't help when AJ Green's hurt a lot. AJ Green and feet don't get along.
I think it's surprising that they've never gone out of their way to get a really good, solid quarterback to replace Andy Dalton with the amount of weapons they've got around him.
Yeah, no.
It's really surprising.
All it takes is, Romo, one bad injury.
How good's their offensive line, though?
Ooh. Well, it doesn't help when the rookie...
Yeah, when your first round pick goes down before training camp even starts,
that's
sign
of a good season.
Sign of a great season.
Unbelievable.
All right, Kirk Cousins next on the list, and I think Kirk Cousins is very similar to Andy Dalton in the way that he's going to give you really, really good points some weeks. He's going to give you really, really average points other weeks, but he's definitely a QB2 by the end of the year. He's locked and loaded to be sitting around that 20 to 25 mark.
Yeah.
I don't see him having it. I think Kirk Cousins is past the point where it could be really good. I think he's not as far gone as saying he's terrible.
But he's not as good.
But I don't see him being a quality quarterback. I think he's going to be another really, really good streaming option. All these players that we're going through pretty much from now until 15, these are your guys that are probably going to be on the waivers every now and then. They're going to be really good streaming options, and they're going to be people that, if you play the matchup right, you can get performances out of these guys the same level as you can get out of the really big top guys. Yeah. It's just harder to predict. The top guys, you lock in your team, you put them in, it's done. You don't move them. They're matchup proof, essentially.
Locked and loaded.
The other players can put up those performances. However, you have to play for matchups. If they're playing the number one passing defense, there's no point in putting Kirk Cousins just because he scored 40 last week, because it's Kirk Cousins. He'll throw 4 picks the following week.
Yeah, and then it'll make you question why he did it in the first place.
Exactly. So, now, the rookie, the number one draft pick, sitting at, 26, 25 on our list.
I'm so about this.
Kyler Murray. And I thought, this is another one where I thought Kyler Murray would be higher in our list, but it's hard to predict total passing yardage for
a rookie. Because college is a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, he's going to have that floor from the rushing that he's going to have. He'll probably still rush for 3 or 4 touchdowns and 500, 600 yards. I think, what do we have him down at? Kyler Murray, 425. That's probably a bit low for rushing yardage, but
it is. Depends on their offense, depends on the air raid system and how effective it is, depends on Larry Fitz and
there's some
how he's going.
He's got really good options around him. And I think David Johnson is being undervalued this year as well in drafts. I think David Johnson's dropping to... I think his average draft position now is dropped to nearly 9.
Yeah, have seen somewhere...
Which is really low.
Hopkins goes ahead of him.
Yeah.
And Devontae Adams, which is...
I'm not surprised Hopkins goes ahead of him, but I am surprised when Devontae Adams goes ahead of him. Because David Johnson is a monster.
He is a beast.
And I would 100% take David Johnson ahead of Devontae Adams in a draft. I think it's really good for Kyler Murray.
I think people are just fearful.
Yeah.
Of that whole kind of offense at the moment because it's untested. It's not practiced. We'll see. It's either going to come out like an absolute steam train.
Yeah.
Or it's going to go off the rails.
Correct.
And we don't know.
So Kyler Murray sitting there at 25, 24. Josh Allen.
What do you want to say about Josh Allen? Last year was really good.
I like Josh Allen. I think he's the best player in Buffalo. Like by a mile.
He was the second best when Antonio was there for 2 minutes and then he didn't go there.
Yes.
But Josh Allen, I'm a fan of a rushing quarterback.
Yeah, so do I. He's got a good floor.
I love a rushing quarterback. So the fact that he has a rocket for an arm.
Yeah, he's got a good arm too. And people don't mention that.
No,
because that has no one to throw to.
No.
Zay Jones, what a beast.
People in Buffalo say he's got a rocket arm, but no one's there to see the rocket arm.
No.
So this year I'm hoping people like Zay Jones...
They won't do anything. But that's what I feel. I feel bad for Josh Allen. I think coming years when they get better talent at receiver, Josh Allen can become a beast. Just imagine if Sammy Watkins was still in Buffalo.
Calvin Benjamin they had for however long.
Not long.
No, but just imagine.
Josh Allen's going to have a really good floor. He's going to be good. Josh Allen, I don't think he's a matchup option. I think Josh Allen is just going to be a safe option purely for the rushing yards.
Yes, absolutely.
I think
that's going to be helping his case.
What have we got at 23, mate?
Mitchell Trubisky.
We've got a kind of a little stretch here of all these really young quarterbacks that have really good legs. They've got that, like I said, they're all going to be in similar spots because they don't all have the best throwing game.
But they've got a good ground game.
They all have a good ground game.
Which helps them tremendously.
Yeah.
So for Trubisky, I'm really looking for him to take a step up.
I am too.
Because he needs to prove himself. I think for a lot of people, it's been disappointing.
Yeah.
Especially last year.
They still made a good run into the playoffs.
They did, but I think the people of Chicago wanted him to, take them to the promised land.
Yeah. I think with Trubisky this year, he is very safe to play simply for the fact that they've got really good weapons.
Yeah.
Really good weapons around Trubisky this year. I think he still probably passes for not a whole bunch, maybe 3,500 yards, and he probably doesn't even throw for 20 touchdowns, but he's going to have that really, really good run game.
Mm-hmm.
He will still run for 500 yards this year, Trubisky, and the help of David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen is a fantastic third down back and a fantastic pass catching back, and having that option, as well as having a first down, second down running back in David Montgomery that can actually catch the ball, unlike Jordan Howard.
Couldn't catch a break.
No. Man. So I think Trubisky is a better play this year than he was last year, but I think he still isn't the best.
No. So we'll be looking for him to really try and make something from nothing.
Yeah.
I think at this stage.
He could be good. I like Trubisky.
I'm hoping he's good. Because he's a nice bloke.
But he still seems like a streaming option. He still doesn't seem
like
a... I still wouldn't draft. I wouldn't draft him.
No. I can safely say he's off my draft board.
Yes.
All right, next up, Timmy Brady.
Tom Brady.
The eternal one. What's he now, 42?
58? 68?
Throwing like he's 20?
He's a freak.
This is his 20th season.
And see, this is the difference between Brady and all these other quarterbacks is Brady has never had receivers. but he still manages to throw for 4,000 yards every year and somehow manages to throw for 40 touchdowns. It's ridiculous. And this year he actually has solid receivers around. I really like Edelman this year.
He does, yep. He's going to be someone to look out for. Interesting to see how he goes with no Gronk.
It will be. And they had Austin Sperry and Jenkins, who then they released because of mental health issues, I believe. So ASJ's had kind of a really interesting start to his career as well. And I don't even know... I read something about mental health issues and they released him, but I didn't really read that much into it.
Maybe there's something else happening there and they've masked it. Who knows? He's got
to have so many options at the running back game. James White's going to catch 1 million balls this year as well. And having Edelman, I think Edelman will be their best receiver this year, but I really do think Edelman is being slept on. So Tom Brady, he's another one of those guys. He will get drafted in your league, by the way. If you're sitting here thinking Tom Brady is a streaming option, we're probably into the players now that are going to get drafted because most people will draft 2 people. So Brady will probably get drafted in your league simply based off name alone. But he's one of those players who, if he doesn't put up, if he puts up 2 or 3 weeks of bad play, the potential for him to get dropped. Could happen. So he's definitely a waiver wire pickup.
Look for him to come good at the end of the season towards your playoff push.
So this is going to be our old person back to back. Phillip Rivers.
He is getting on in years.
He is another quarterback that is going to be drafted purely based on name, purely based on reputation, but I wouldn't want to draft him as my QB1.
No. Having been someone who had him as a QB1, it was really hit and miss. It was either a great week or you were scratching your head going, why'd I play him?
Yeah.
And that was, again, based on weapons or lack thereof, especially with injuries.
With Phillip Rivers this year, having Keenan Allen, who's a PPR monster, having Mike Williams, who is, hopefully going to take the next step.
Looking for that.
This year. And having Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler.
Another one of these players with potential. So many weapons around him.
He will throw for a lot of yards. He'll have really good weeks. He'll be really consistent, Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is one of those guys who's going to have monster games, but his bad games aren't going to be so low because he has so many weapons around him. He might lose a fair few points for interceptions because he tends to be a little wild with the ball. So if you have high interception, loss of points in your league, probably
would not be focusing on him.
No. Phillip Rivers, good player, going to go high-ish in your draft compared to what we've got him ranked. Probably wouldn't draft Phillip Rivers, but if he slips to one of the last few rounds and you have a quarterback that you're not 100% happy with, I think he's a good scoop up.
Mm-hmm. Let's rattle some of these off.
Let's just get through them.
Where are we?
We got here now.
Dak Prescott. Dak
Prescott's a safe
America's
player.
Team.
He's going to be a safe option. He's got the legs. He's got Elliott to throw to. But
I think a bonus for him
Cooper
now
as well.
Yeah, with Cooper. I think a bonus for him is now Zeke's been cleared of everything.
Yeah, that helps.
So he's going to play for 16 games.
Yeah. Well, if he doesn't get injured.
If he doesn't get injured, but we're plotted.
Prescott is a really good QB2 draft option. Don't draft him for your QB1. And I think he will be a solid enough quarterback to kind of play for a matchup or play on a bye week. And
he's definitely a stream candidate.
That's about it.
Nothing more, nothing less. All right, next up we have...
New era.
I like this one. Lamar Jackson. He is... He's a unique case.
Very unique. He is the only quarterback who will throw for... He's the only quarterback ever that I've ever known, probably Michael Vick with the other one, that has the potential to throw for less than 3,000 yards, less than 15 touchdowns, and still finish in the top 12 in quarterbacks. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And all I can say is thank goodness for rushing.
Yeah,
it's almost like you've got another running back at quarterback.
It is. It's playing quarterback, and he's a cheat code, but I think he will become more of a cheat code as he progresses in his career. But this year is, I think, a really good year for Lamar Jackson. I think he will rush for probably just as many rushing yards as the top 10 running backs in the league. And then if he has a good year passing, which he apparently... They say he has a good arm.
I've heard he can. Again, haven't seen it happen, but I've heard he's a good thrower.
So he has the potential to be a really, really sneaky pick. And he has the potential to be a play as a QB1 option more often than not this year if
the run defense is bad.
Yeah. But the only thing for Baltimore is that they're going to be behind the chains a lot, and he's going to probably have to throw the ball more than he wants to, which leads to mistakes, it leads to 3 and outs, it leads to him not being on the field long enough, and it leads to games where he probably doesn't put up as many points as he probably wants to.
Tough for him as well, losing his, what I thought was number 1 receiver. John Brown. It's going to be tough because John Brown was a burner.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. I think he will have an uptake in his rushing from last year.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think we're projecting for like 1,000 rushing yards here.
Which is absolutely justifiable.
And like almost 7 rushing touchdowns. He might even have a few like burning, like long rushing touchdowns, but who knows? Let's move on.
Yep.
Famous Jameis.
Famous Jameis.
I don't really want to talk about famous Jameis. I think they lost Djax, which he couldn't throw to anyway because his deep ball completion percentage was abysmal. It was so bad. It was like
his vision stopped after 20 yards ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like 20 yards, it's like, oh, Djax is open. I'm going to overthrow him. I'm going to underthrow him. The only reason Jameis Winston is so high on our rankings here, I believe, is because they are going to be so bad and so far behind that he will have to throw 50 times a game.
Literally throwing to catch up.
Yeah, every single game. So Jameis Winston's going to be one of those options. I think Jameis Winston is the only quarterback that we're going to read out that I think you should play when he's playing opposing teams with really good offenses, purely because the only way he will score high is if he's throwing the ball 55 times a game.
Absolutely. 100%.
Big Ben, next on the list.
Big Ben, what can you say? Juju is going to be a big influence. Whether Juju can overcome what I'm assuming will be extra coverage coming his way.
Probably a lot of safety help over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. The loss of Antonio Brown, huge.
AB.
Yep.
AB. That's something that I think people are not taking into account for Ben Roethlisberger this year. I think he was still ranked as a quarterback that's going to throw for the 3rd most yards this year, and the loss of 1,300 yards, where's that going to go?
And 14 touchdowns.
To Dante Moncrief? Probably not.
I doubt it.
Probably not. And James Conner?
No Vance Dance?
No, Vance Dance is very good. But I don't think that people are accounting for 14... well, it was probably almost 1,400 yards that Antonio Brown is...
I see Ben going backwards.
I do too.
I see Pittsburgh struggling.
I do too. And you know what? Quick little bold prediction here for you. I don't even think James Conner will be starting at the running back position by the end of the year. Just putting it out there.
Can't argue with that.
Let's
next?
Let's keep moving. Carson Wentz, Philadelphia, the bounce back, that MVP year.
Yep.
Where he tore his ACL with Deshaun Watson. That year, if he can replicate that year, the guy's a freak. I think Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is a freak. They have Djax coming back. And Carson Wentz's deep ball percentage, his accuracy on deep balls
is crazy.
It's ridiculous. It wasn't the best last year, but last year having to flush, like he was flushed out of the pocket so much, and coming off the knee injury, you don't have the most confidence, but having a really big off season, and like they bought Djax in for a reason. They are paying him a fortune.
You know what helps your deep ball accuracy?
Deshaun Jackson.
Like Djax helps that tremendously. So good on them.
They put him on. 3 years for $30 million, and he's old, so they're going to use him. And I think he's a really good weapon for Wentz. I think Wentz also having Jeffrey as well. I think he has a really good year, Wentz. And I think, what do we have him ranked at here? We're almost in the top 10. Wentz is at, 12?
Yep.
I think he's a QB1.
Very true. Yeah.
I think
on a fire week.
I think he's a QB1. Right, I think he could finish as a top 6 quarterback. If everything goes his way, everyone stays healthy. I think he does.
Yeah, no.
I think he does.
Not arguing there.
Russell Danger Wilson, the one player that I thought would be higher on our list and isn't. I think the Doug Baldwin loss is
huge for him.
Massive.
I don't know if he can overcome that.
Tyler Lockett, in my eyes, isn't a wide receiver 1.
No.
I don't think. He had a good year last year, but I don't think he's wide receiver 1, and I don't think Russell Wilson will have a good year.
No, I think
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Just going to say, I think Metcalf's too raw this year.
100%.
Even put in any attempt to help. I think next year it might be Wilson.
And their running back situation is...
Who's the running back? We don't know.
And I hate that. I think Rashad Penny should get the job. And
Carson Penny.
What do we got? We've got the top 10 now. So, okay, let's just hold up a second. These top 10 quarterbacks are players that we think should be drafted as... These are the guys... If you have one of these guys, it's very hard to take them out of your QB1 spot.
Oh, yeah. If you've got them, you've got them for the season.
And these are the kind of guys that you're going to draft in positions that if you don't start them, it's a waste of a draft pick. Because these top 10 are going to be guys you have to draft probably in the first 8-9 rounds. And if there's a lot of really good receivers and running backs in that area, so and tight ends especially. So I think if you draft one of these top 10 guys, which I think you should,
you better be committed
you have to commit to it. So at 10,
my man,
the handsome
one, Jimmy Garoppolo.
And
I'm excited for this year.
He loves it.
I'm not just saying that as a 49ers fan. I'm just genuinely excited.
He loves it.
The team's healthy.
Yeah, but
the team's healthy.
But it's the 49ers.
It's the 49ers. I just love the team. No, I think he's going to have a good year. I think that comes down to two things. I think it comes down to his knee and how he bounces back from that injury. But I also think it comes down to the team. Shanahan's a great coach. They run a great offense. Can everyone stay healthy?
But can Jimmy G, coming off the injury, finish as a top 10 quarterback?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, because we have built the team. The defense is stacked.
You have no running backs.
We have 7 of them. And
you have no good running
all
backs.
Slightly injured, and we haven't worked out who's number 1, but it's okay because we drafted a guy called Debo.
So this is the thing about the consensus rankings, is I have Garoppolo slightly lower. Like, I would have Garoppolo below Wilson and Wentz and Roethlisberger.
So I had Garoppolo at 10.
So he had him higher, and I think he's still unproven. I think he can be good. I think he has a really good pedigree coming from behind Brady, but I do think that he needs this year to bond with the team and mush with the team, and then maybe next year he'll be a top 10. I've got him finishing around that 12 to 14 mark, but I think he's still a good, more than 50% of the week start at QB1.
I think we've finally given him enough weapons. I think we've finally given him some decent receivers. Garcon was an experiment that didn't work out.
Ever. It just didn't.
Goodwin's going to be good.
Potentially.
Pettis
stays healthy.
One of my sleepers. Pettis is going to be great. I can't wait to see
I agree.
that kid
I really like Pettis. You know what's funny is I was going back through our league last year and I drafted Marquise Goodwin last year really high. Like, I drafted Goodwin in the fifth round. I was all in on Goodwin. I remember watching week 1. Like, I remember watching Game Pass, alright, and I was sitting there and, you know, when it flashes to another game, it was like, Marquise Goodwin down with injury, like 4 minutes into the season, and I was like, and then I don't think he played for weeks, and when he came back, he did nothing, and it was just a waste of a pick.
It's surprising how many picks you waste.
I wasted last year, I think, pick round 4 and round 5. I went Royce Freeman and Marquise Goodwin.
And in hindsight, bad choice.
Correct. All right, moving on.
Here we go, number 9.
Baker Mayfield.
Big bad Baker.
The overpowered offense that is the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield.
I'm sorry. How many times in history has anyone said the overpowered offense in Cleveland?
Not for a while.
I'm happy for the city. I'm happy for them.
But I still don't think they will be that good.
Is it going to be a case of too many chefs spoil the broth?
Yes.
I think it will.
They have way too many players. Like, even at running back, having Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and then having Jarvis, Odell, and Antonio Callaway.
And Njoku.
They just have too many mouths to feed, and I think it becomes one of those cases of OBJ cracking the shits again, constantly. Jarvis Landry cracking the sads with Odell in some sort of internal fight.
Yep.
And Baker Mayfield not being as good as everyone says he is. But, okay, here's the thing. He will be good. I think he is actually good. I'm just being dramatic. But Baker... Oh, fuck.
Baker's either going to struggle to fill everyone's needs.
Yeah.
Or he's absolutely going to flourish in that situation. He's absolutely going to be pinpoint on the money, hitting everyone up, keeping them good. The Browns are my kind of sneaky pick to almost make playoffs this year.
I think
depending on how that offense goes.
I think they make playoffs. I think they probably just beat the Steelers in that division. I think the Steelers are still on level with the Browns almost, and I think it's too hard to say that the Browns are going to be really, really good because they haven't done it yet. That's the thing, is it's hard to say teams are going to be amazing when they haven't done it, and it's hard to say that quarterbacks are going to be amazing like Baker when we haven't seen it in a large sample size. No. So it's going to be hard. Those two, Garoppolo and Mayfield, are going to be riskier picks, but they have really, really good upside.
Great potential to maybe, help you win your league.
Correct. And that's the thing. I think Baker Mayfield could be a league-winning quarterback, but he comes with a lot of risk because of how many people he has to try and throw to. And sometimes it's not good to have Njoku, Jarvis Landry, and Odell Beckham Jr. and Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb.
It just doesn't work. It's just too clustered, too crowded.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Number 8, Matt Ryan. What do you want to say about Matt Ryan? Do you think Matt Ryan? Okay, just quick question to start. Do you think Matt Ryan could finish in the top 3 quarterbacks this year? Yes or no?
No, I don't see it happening.
I think Matt Ryan
top 5, yes, but be hard to crack those top 3.
I disagree. I think Matt Ryan could replicate the Super Bowl year. I think Matt Ryan has the potential to get on board with Julio, to have a healthy Devonta Freeman, to really zone in on Julio in the red zone, which he hasn't done for years now. And I think Julio also has a monster year. And I think Matt Ryan is one of those players who you can wait on past all these top 6, top 7 quarterbacks that are going to go really early. And in the 7th, 8th round, if he hasn't gone yet, really scoop up Matt Ryan and have a solid player to sit there and leave.
I think it's a steal if he gets...
7th round for Matt Ryan, someone that can throw more than 30 touchdowns. If you find a quarterback in the 7th round that can throw more than 30 touchdowns...
Gold nugget.
I agree. Number 7, this one here, everyone's going to disagree with. Everyone is going to
say it for them to disagree. Let's go.
Number 7 is Aaron Rodgers. Really low for Aaron Rodgers. But I really dislike Green Bay's offense.
What's left of Green Bay's offense?
And that's exactly right. Randall Cobb's gone.
Yep.
Devontae Adams he's a monster.
He is.
But their other 2 receivers in Geronimo Allison and Marquez Valdez-Scantling are unproven.
Mm-hmm. Throw Equinemius St. Brown
in there as well, and they're all unproven. It's 3 really big, really good receivers that haven't done anything. And Aaron Rodgers, I know he's Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
But having Aaron Jones, a running back that doesn't catch the ball, Devonta Adams, which you can probably lock in for 1,400 yards, but the others are unknown.
No. Not even going to talk about the tight end situation.
No, and that's the thing, is you can't say that Aaron Rodgers is going to throw 40 touchdowns and throw for 4,000 yards when I just don't see where that's going to go to consistently. And that's why I think he's so low on my list. And I don't think that... a lot of people have him at 2, a lot of people have him at 3, and I just don't see him having enough proven weapons to do it. And don't get me wrong, I think he could do it.
He definitely could. There wasn't even an improvement after Mike McCarthy.
No, it's
left. It was the same old mediocre, we're going to do a bit, score a touchdown. But after that, it was a struggle. Yeah. He struggled.
Yeah, and he hasn't...
Which is why we got him lower than...
Everyone's going to disagree with that. But moving... I wouldn't draft Aaron Rodgers ahead of anyone else we've got left on the list here. So, number 6.
Number 6, Drew Brees.
He's old. But his offense...
never gets worse. It just gets better.
Correct. And the good thing for Drew Brees this year, with him getting older, is they've put weapons around him that are going to help with that. Like having Alvin Kamara as the number 1 back this year and being able to dump 120 targets off
to him,
to Kamara,
is
invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Kamara will have 800 receiving yards this year. Michael Thomas will have 1,400. That's already 2,200 receiving yards, and I think Drew Brees has a really good year.
Yeah.
I think Drew Brees finishes... What do we got? He's number 6. I think Drew Brees easily finishes as a top 6 quarterback.
They also brought in Latavius Murray, who's a wonderful pass-catching back,
he's a good first, second down back. They've got really good backfield for Drew Brees, and the thing is, with Murray and Kamara, is both of them being in doesn't show New Orleans' hand. It doesn't show whether they're going to run the ball. It doesn't show whether they're going to pass the ball. And I think them being able to set up play action this year is going to allow for a lot of deep balls and a lot of yards and a lot of deep touchdowns for Drew Brees.
Yeah, look for Traquan Smith to take advantage of that as well. He's someone I'm really high on.
Some real good burners.
Yeah.
Your man is next on the list at 5. You are real big on this guy.
Can you?
Big Cam Newton is another one of those quarterbacks who is going to be really helped out in the passing game because of the running game.
Christian McCaffrey
He's a monster.
is a fantasy lifesaver.
He's a monster. And I think he's also a real NFL lifesaver for Cam Newton.
Absolutely.
Cam Newton, he's always been known as the quarterback that can run. He's a monster, but he can't pass the ball. His accuracy is all over the joint,
Yep.
and it was always helped out by the fact that Kelvin Benjamin had the wingspan of like 2 trucks.
Yeah, throw it down the field and watch Go Gadget just throw the arm out to get him.
Correct.
Going to be good to see this year, especially with that fixed shoulder. New shoulder, who dis?
New shoulder.
He's going to be throwing it long. Look for him to really help you win a championship this year.
I think he is one of those players as well.
His ceiling is going to be huge. Again, the run game is going to come right back.
And he's another one of those quarterbacks that I think that running game really helps him. When he gets out, a lot of these quarterbacks, when they escape the pocket, they tend to throw the ball away. Newton will run for, 20 yards? That's 2 fantasy points from your quarterback rushing right there. I think Cam Newton won't throw for a whole bunch of yards and he won't throw for a whole bunch of touchdowns, but those extra rushing yards you get and the fact that he has CMC, I think it's invaluable. And I think Cam Newton does have the potential. I don't think he has the potential to finish the top 3. I don't think he does, but I think we've kind of projected him at his ceiling here at 5, and I think he will definitely finish between the top 5 and the top, in the top 5. No, sorry, I think he'll finish between 5 and 10.
Which is where he needs to be.
But he's going to be another one of those players where if you draft Cam Newton, you will have really good weeks. He'll probably have some bad weeks because his passing attack isn't the best, but he's one of those players you have to stick with. At 4 now, this is the one player. So this is the other player. So Rodgers, I was expecting to have a hell of a lot higher, and this player was very surprising that he came in at 4, and that is Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
That ridiculously high-powered Rams offense.
Just that team in general is just crazy stacked.
All right, question though.
Yes.
Are the 3 receivers
Yes.
at the Rams as good as everyone says they are? Will Cooper Kupp be as good coming off the injury?
Always hard to tell with a knee injury, but
Is Robert Woods actually good?
no one can confirm that,
No.
which is a problem.
But their offense is ridiculous. And Brandon Cooks is obviously a just deep threat burner. That I think if Goff has a really good offseason with these 3, really gets on par with...
If he's on the same wavelength,
It's on the same
they're
wavelength
going
as
far.
Brandon Cooks.
They are going very far.
They can score. I think the last 2 years they've averaged 30 points and 28 points per game, and 4 touchdowns a game. If he throws 3 of those a week, he's set as a top 4 quarterback.
Case in point, the game last year against the Chiefs, 56 points.
Yeah, and he will
All
do
just
that a
on-
few times this year. That will happen a few times this year. And the running back situation, I don't feel affects him at all there. Whether Gurley's playing, whether Darrell Henderson's playing, I think they're fine. I think Jared Goff is a really good pickup. If he slips anywhere below the 6th round, I think you scoop him up straight away.
Get him, because you will struggle to find anyone better at that time.
All right, number 3.
Your boy.
My boy, Deshaun Watson. Now, I really wanted to kind of bump up this guy's stats and have him at number 1, but I think people would have known that I kind of did that on purpose because it's my boy.
I think a riot would have started.
But Deshaun Watson this year, I think, will have an absolute monster. The year he tore his ACL, he was ridiculous.
He was on track for records. He was going to break records. Which made it even worse when he went down with the injury.
I still remember.
Did you shed a tear?
Yes. I still remember driving home the day that it happened. And I was on the phone to my girlfriend, and I just remember saying, I am so sad. I was so devastated the day that it happened. I was in the biggest funk of my life, and I was just thinking, I have to wait so long to watch him play again. And I'm tearing up now, but...
It was tough, and then you had to bring in your backup, who wasn't any... Let's not even talk about him.
Deshaun Watson has some monsters around this year. DeAndre Hopkins is a monster. He's going to catch 12 touchdowns, 1,400 yards. He's going to be targeted 12, 13 times a game. Will Fuller, if he can stay healthy...
Yeah, that's the question. If he can stay healthy, there's pretty much DeAndre Hopkins the second.
Yeah, he's a burner, Will Fuller. And then having Kiki Kuti in the slot is essentially the Julian Edelman of the Houston Texans. And when he played last year, 5 games, I think he played 6 games last year, had something like 50 targets in 6 games. He was on track for over 100 targets. Yeah. And I think that happens. I think Kiki Kuti is a really good sleeper this year. And I think having Lamar Miller... I think Lamar Miller came back and lost 7 pounds again this year, so I think everyone's sleeping on the Miller a bit. I think that the Houston offense is being slept on. I think Deshaun Watson can definitely, and you probably disagree, and everyone probably disagrees, but I think Deshaun Watson can finish year number 1. I think he can finish
with the
year
right circumstances
ahead of Mahomes.
Yes, but I just see it a lot tougher for him.
Right, moving on.
Right.
I'm getting emotional talking about Deshaun Watson.
Two left.
Number two.
Number 2.
Well, I have a guess. Who do you think that'll be? This guy, by the way, how did the AFC South go from being the laughing stock of the NFL
to a powerhouse
to having 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks in our projections?
I don't know.
Do you know who it is yet, guys?
With any luck, you might know.
Big Andrew Luck. The Indianapolis Colts have gone from last year being power ranked at number 32 to now being one of the Super Bowl favourites.
It's one of the best resurgences I've ever seen.
It is
For
amazing.
a team in whole, and their drafting and their pickups, Andrew Luck, I think, can finish number 1.
I agree. I think Andrew Luck has the potential to throw for more than 50 touchdowns this year. I think that T.Y. Hilton has the chance to have a monster year. I think that Marlon Mack has a chance to finish as a top 10 running back. But I think Andrew Luck, with all those weapons around him, with Nyheim Hines as a really good pass-catching back, he has the chance to finish the year with absurd record-breaking numbers. Potential. Ceiling 2, he has to stay healthy.
If he goes down with an injury, we're right back to the Colts of however many years ago.
Correct. And that's the thing. Luck is going to be a top 5 round pickup, but he has to stay healthy, and that has always been the issue with Andrew Luck. He has just he's amazing. He's athletic. He has an amazing arm. He's tough.
Yep.
But all of that doesn't help if you constantly get injured.
No. If you draft him, there's 2 ways this will end. Either you're going to be holding up the trophy at the end of the year and thinking, what a great pickup.
Yeah.
Or in week 3, you'll be throwing your phone out the window because he's gone down with a knee injury.
Correct.
And we have a friend who's a Colts supporter.
And by the way, shout out to this bloke. Our mate Rowan has been our commissioner in our league since it started 11 years ago.
When he
he puts up with a lot of shit. We are not an easy bunch of blokes to put up with. And no offense, but respect to you, bro. You have put up with an enormous amount of shit from us.
He's the only person I know who threatened to quit the league and then won the league that
year. Yes. Last year, he said he wasn't going to do it because he was sick of our shit. Understandable. I'd be sick of our shit too.
Fair enough.
And then he's like, nah, I'll do it. And fucking wins. He won. How?
Rumors of
He actually
rigging.
drafted so well.
He has a good draft strategy.
He's a monster. He has really good knowledge. He has low-key one of some of the best fantasy knowledge in our league. But just goes under the radar every year. But good pickup. And number 1, obviously, Patty Mahomes.
Can't argue with that. Consensus. This was pretty much our only consensus.
This was our own. This was our only player that we have to sit there and go, okay, you can't say that Mahomes isn't going to be number 1. Is he going to be as good as last year? No. The answer is no. He's not going to do the same thing he did last year, especially if Tyreek Hill's not playing.
Yeah, and there's been no clear reports.
No.
It could be suspended for the season. Read something a couple of weeks ago. Could be 4 games, and then there's just been a phone call released saying that he wasn't involved in it. So there could be no suspension.
But the thing is, right now, if you're doing your draft right now, it looks like I'm not wearing pants for it at the moment.
Take this man.
But I think you have to go into it expecting Tyreek Hill not to be playing for the whole season. I think that's what you have to assume.
Hello, Sammy Watkins.
And that's the thing, is he's still got other weapons around him. Sammy Watkins, when he first started playing, was an absolute monster, and then he was just injured and getting palmed off to team. But he has, Mecole Hardman has really good pass-catching backs, and I think he has the potential to throw for 40 touchdowns.
Also has a low-key tight end that doesn't do much.
Travis Kelce?
Trevor Kelce.
Trevor Kelce?
Yeah.
Apparently he's alright.
Apparently he's good. Travis Kelce is going to either help Mahomes win the...
I think they could win. I think they could...
They could win it all next year.
But I think that Travis Kelce is one of those... If Tyreek's not playing, Travis Kelce has to go in the first round of drafts. But if Tyreek Hill's not playing, I think Mahomes' value... If he's there in the 3rd, I'm not taking him. If he's there in the late 4th, I'll take him.
So I've done a lot of mock drafts on Sleeper, and I think the most recent one I did, he went first pick of the 3rd round.
That's too early.
To me.
It's it's so early. I know you're all in on Patrick Mahomes, and you will take him early in the 3rd.
Not just because he wears red, but...
early in the 3rd for you for Mahomes, but for me, I say if he's there in the 4th,
kind of mid to late fourth.
Mid-fourth, if you're sitting there like 404 to 40... If you're anywhere from 404, if he's on the board, you take him. Simple, right now, telling you right now, if you take him from 404 onwards, you will have an amazing quarterback that you can sit there and play. And I think he can win some championships here if he stays healthy, if he continues. That's the thing. He's done it for 1 year. One tree doesn't make a forest.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. We need to see him either back it up.
Yeah, and this thing, you can take Mahomes. This is why I'm kind of tempering my expectations on him, because you can take him, but you can't take him with the expectation that he's going to do the same thing he did last year.
Well, no, we've got him down for 4,700 yards.
He did throw for 5,000 last year.
So we've regressed him a little bit.
And what did he throw? 50?
He had 50 touchdowns. We put him down for 41, which, again...
is a massive... It's actually a huge regression.
It's massive. Again, Tyreek isn't there, but...
Exactly. So...
he'll be good. Whether he's as good as last year, unproven.
I don't think he will.
But he will still be someone who's going to win you...
He might win you a championship if he goes off. There's a lot of quarterbacks here that can win you a championship, but I think what you got to understand is the top three quarterbacks here, Mahomes, Luck, Watson. If you say to me right now, I can take Mahomes in the third, Luck in the fourth, or Watson in the fifth.
Which one are you taking?
I'm probably going to take Luck in the fourth. Yourself?
I'd almost be taking Mahomes.
Really?
I'd be taking Mahomes. It's not a vested interest, but I just see him backing it up. I see him having another great year. I see him...
I think the
throwing
running backs...
all those ridiculous no-look passes. I see him just doing that, and the running back situation helps him.
Yeah.
Because they're good pass catchers.
Yeah, I think
they're going to be good to him for not only fantasy, but just NFL in general.
I think, for me personally, I think... we'll go through this more when we do a draft strategy video, but I think for me, having those solid RBs and wide receivers in the first 3 rounds, to me, is more valuable than the point difference that you're going to get with Mahomes. Yeah. But that's just me. So that's our rankings. Let's just go through them again really quickly from 1 down to whatever we've got, 31 here. So we've got Mahomes, Luck, Watson, Goff, Newton, Brees, Rodgers, Ryan, Mayfield, Garoppolo, Wilson, Watts, Roethlisberger, who's an interesting character, Jameis, Famous, Winston, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Phillip Rivers, Timmy Brady, Mitch Trubisky, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Matthew Stafford, Marcus Mariota, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, Joe Flacco, and Josh Rosen and Eli Manning. And then someone from Washington. Whatever's happening in Washington, which we don't know. But I think that's it, boys. So next video will probably either be a mock draft, or the next rankings video will be running backs.
But I think our next video will be a mock draft,
which we will do live on our channel. So make sure you're subscribed with those
bells. Hit that button.
Hit the bells. Turn the bells on so you know when we're doing that live mock draft. And
you can come and laugh at me when I take Mahomes in the third.
No, because I'll be doing it with him and I won't allow. But I hope you guys really did enjoy this. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This has been the Fantasy Footballers Down Under. Good episode.
Cheers, mate.